In this video, I'm going to go over some of the strategies that you can implement in your low and medium content books for Halloween to help them stand out from all the rest. Welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline, and if you are new around here, thanks for stopping by. If you are interested in seeing new videos that I release every single week, just like this one, please consider subscribing. Now, Halloween is fast approaching, and in a video that I did a few weeks ago where I talked about the top niches for quarter four being the last 3 months of the year and the biggest selling period of the year, I did mention that Halloween is the first big event or the first big holiday for quarter four. I did think about doing a niche video for Halloween about the best niches to make Halloween books in, but I feel like everybody does those at this time of the year. But basically, what it really is all about is it is about what the customer wants, not what you want or what you want to make. If you're happy to design, create, and publish books as a hobby, and you don't really care if you ever really sell any, then by all means, make any kind of book that your heart desires. Make books that you would like to buy. But if you do want to actually sell some books and actually make some money, then you are going to have to put aside some of the things that you have in your head about what you think customers will want and what they will buy, and actually go and do the research to see what it is they actually buy. You might be surprised. So instead of doing a niche video, I thought that I would talk about some strategies we can use to try to make our books stand out and make more sales. Because let's face it, Halloween is a popular niche for KDP for low and medium content books. So I think it's more important to focus on how to make books that sell rather than what specific niche to make books in. Because over Halloween, the majority of the niches in Halloween are popular. And because all Halloween niches are fairly hard to get traction in at the beginning when you very first publish a book. But if you do, you can see some really great sales over this event. And although I have specifically made this talking about Halloween books and the Halloween event, the things that I am going to cover in this video will work perfectly fine for any niche and any kind of low or medium content book, and even into high content books. So one way to do this is make better books. Easy, right? It is very easy to say, make better books. And I think most of the time, if you were to ask people who have made a book, do you think this book is better than all of the others out there? Then I think that most of them will probably say, yeah, I think it is. But the fact is, a lot of the time, they're not. Be really honest with yourself about the type of books, the quality of the books that you're making, your skill set, and whether you can truly make a book that looks better and gives the customer what they want more than all the other books on Amazon. It is hard to be honest with yourself, especially when you have put so much time and effort into making a book, but it is really important. And once you do that, you can see the parts of publishing a book that you are strong at and also what you are not strong at. And you can work around those areas where you find you don't have strong skills in. And it is perfectly fine. The majority of people out there are not going to be fantastic at every single element that you need when creating, designing, and publishing a book. It's totally fine if you are not a great graphic designer, or if you just cannot figure out how to make an appealing cover. Find other ways to do it if it's not your strong suit. Let me show you some examples of books where the book design might not be as strong as it needs to be to compete with all the other books on Amazon. Because we have to remember that a lot of these books are being published by professional publishing houses who hire professional illustrators and professional designers, and those are the kind of books that you're competing with on Amazon. Now, this is not a critique on anybody's graphic design skills or on what I think is right or wrong about the cover or the design of the book. I just purely want to show you the differences between a book that you can clearly see has been created by perhaps someone who's not a professional graphic designer, or who maybe hasn't made a book before, or maybe just an amateur or hobbyist type of person making these books, compared to someone or a book that you can clearly see has a higher level of design skills. So the first one I did choose here to look at is this Halloween coloring and activity book. Personally, to me, I would not find appealing. Now, this is all subjective. It's just my personal opinion, and you may think completely opposite to me, which is totally fine. But for me personally, searching through the search results, this one kind of jumped out at me as one that I would not personally choose to click on to look further into it, just judging purely based on the cover. The next one that I'm going to show you is one that I think looks very professional. It's a Halloween Puzzles Deluxe published by Highlights, which is a massive publishing company. They do a lot of puzzle books, activity books, and things like that. And I just feel like the cover is on a totally different level to this Halloween coloring and activity book. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, the Highlights one is not an Amazon printed book. It's not a KDP book. Doesn't matter. No effect whatsoever on who prints the book, whether Amazon prints the book through KDP or whether this company has its own publishing company. It does not matter. The customers don't know that. All the customer knows is they type in that they want a Halloween activity book, and this is what shows up. They don't care who prints the book. So regardless of whether this book gets printed somewhere else, that doesn't matter. It's not going to have an effect on a customer's choice. That's what we need to take into consideration. Now, the next one that I did choose for not the greatest in terms of design is this I Spy Halloween book for kids. Again, I personally just do not find this appealing. I feel like it does look quite amateur, and it would surprise me if that was done by a professional cover designer or graphic designer compared to this cute witch stuff coloring book. This particular brand has a whole range of coloring books created by all different graphic designers, and it is just so much more appealing to look at. And what you have to think about is when a customer's in the search results, they've searched for a Halloween coloring book, you have to imagine these books side by side on the sales page and what they're going to look like next to each other. If you were looking for a Halloween coloring book or activity book and this one showed up next to this one, which one do you think customers are going to be more tempted to click on based purely on the cover design? And that's what we have to look at and think about when we are creating our books. What's it going to take for the customer to click on your book rather than the ones right next to it? There is also another way to make better books, and that is to do a deep dive on the books that are the best sellers in your niche, the books that you are going to be competing with. What is it that makes the customer click on their thumbnail when it shows up in the search results? What is it that people like about these books? What is it they don't like? For the thumbnail, is it because it stands out or sticks out more than the other books on that results page? Is the title more clear on that tiny thumbnail compared to the other books near it? Is it the actual title they've used, or do they have lots of 5-star ratings that's making the customer click on it? Or does it have the orange bestseller badge? You have to remember that books don't start with thousands of reviews and bestseller badge. Every book starts exactly the same way: 0 sales, 0 reviews and ratings. And you have to think about what is it about that book that gets it to the point of having all these reviews that are great and having the bestseller badge and things like that. And if we can try to figure some of these things out, we could try to implement them into our own books and hopefully see some success or some results as well. Now, once you are looking at these books individually, have a look at as much as you can possibly see of what they've included in their books. You can do this by using the Look Inside feature, any A+ content if they've got it, and also the reviews section. Customers can upload photos and videos of the product, of the books, as part of their review. So it is actually a really good way to see more into the book than you can through the Look Inside feature. Let's take a look at this book, for example. I came across this book in the Halloween niche, a dark beauty horror coloring book for adults. Now, it's got the bestseller badge. It's got all 4.5, nearly 5-star reviews on it. So when you're looking at this in the search results, that's what customers are going to see. They're going to see high level of reviews, a bestseller badge, and a really nicely designed professional looking cover. They can see that it's an adult coloring book, and they already have an idea of the type of coloring pages that are going to be inside this book based purely on the cover. It's also described in the title that this is not a fun kind of coloring book. This is a scary, horror, creepy coloring book. So that's all laid out for the customer before they've even clicked on it. Now, once we're in here, we can have a look inside and we can maybe see what kind of coloring pages are inside the book. There's a little bit of a design there that we can see. Now, we've got a tips for coloring page, which is quite handy, which helps eliminate some of the complaints we often get with coloring books on Amazon. With KDP, when you are printing through them, they don't have many options of paper quality or thickness of paper. The paper quality is quite thin, and you do get quite a few people complaining about the fact that the pages are thin, that their pens bleed through and things like that. This book has already tried to eliminate that complaint by saying, hey, this is how you avoid bleed through and tears, pop a sheet of paper underneath it. So the customer kind of already has an idea that that's a possibility it's going to happen. This is how you can fix it before you even use the book, and hopefully eliminate some bad reviews. And also not to put too much pressure when coloring, because that can also contribute to ripping through the paper because it is quite thin. Now, the look inside feature clearly doesn't show you much. It doesn't even get to the pages of the coloring, but we can see on the back cover what kind of coloring images we're going to get inside this book. They look very high quality. They look very professional. They are not really your standard kind of coloring pages that you can buy, which are quite clip arty and not very detailed. So it's a really good quality looking coloring book. So from here, we can scroll down to see if they have any A+ content, to see what else is in these books, or what is it about this brand that people are liking. So we've got the coloring images, which are quite scary looking if you're into scary things. There's some scary sayings. So on the back of each coloring image, they've colored their page black, but then to make it a bit more interesting, they've put some sayings on there, some quotes or something like that. We've got some information about the other books that they've got in their series. So they keep all their books to the same style. So if customers do like this style of coloring book, they can go buy all the different kinds that they have. When we get down to the reviews, this is where you can see where people have uploaded images. So this is really cool because you get to see what people are doing with it, what designs they're making from these coloring books, and they look really nice. So these kind of images are just building trust that it's a good quality coloring book, that perhaps even though the pages are thin, people are still making some really nice designs from this coloring book, and it gives you a better idea of what the book looks like in real life. Now, another book that I do want to have a quick look at is this horror coloring book. So we've got Chibi, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, horror coloring book. Now, they do have some trademarked characters on their front cover, which is not something that you should be doing. It has 4-star reviews, so it's selling at the moment. So let's take a look, because it might be something inside the book that customers are really loving that you could implement into your book to try and help make sales on your own book. So we've got a color interior, which I'm sure the book is not being printed as color. It doesn't have much in the beginning part, so we do get to see some of the interior pages. Now you can see what I mean by the other coloring book we just looked at. Their coloring pages were so detailed and professional looking compared to these ones that have super thick lines, that they're quite clip art looking, but it is almost like more of a cute horror, I guess, in my opinion, than a scary horror type of coloring book. So they're the type of coloring images that are inside of it. A little bit more like the standard type of coloring images you would find in coloring books, where people haven't drawn the pages themselves. They may have bought them somewhere or got them from a stock image website or something like that. Then we scroll down and see if there's any A+ content, which gives us more of an idea what's inside the book, and they don't have A+ content. So we can head down to the reviews here and get some real life photos of the book, of what it actually looks like, and we just go through and see what is in this book that is making people buy it and give it the good reviews. And so when you're doing this, take notes on what the customers are saying about these books and use the comments to help build your book based on what customers are actually asking for. So if we just head back here to this horror coloring book, like I say, it only had 4 stars, which on KDP, you want to have some color in that 5th star to just have that trust with customers. So if we go back down to the reviews and let's see what are some of the things that the customers are saying that they don't like about this. So the first one is talking about the cover being bent. So some of the reviews you are going to see about the quality of the book in terms of it maybe being ripped or bent or something. That's printing issues and shipping issues from Amazon. There is nothing that you can do about that. It does say it looks like these images were all saved from Google because they have a waterproof like line on it. Every page has a line through as if it's been printed on, and the description said there were to be black backsides to every page, but my book did not come with that, and the last pages seem to be very basic art coloring pages. Nothing to do with characters. Okay, the next one says, as a big Chucky fan, I was disappointed ordering this as there is not a single page of him. So they expected something because it was on the cover, and when they opened the book, there was nothing to do with that particular character inside. Some pages are good quality, others are not. Seems like images are just downloaded from the web. So it looks like this person has created this book basically by going to Google Images and just taking images from there, and they're not high quality, they're low quality. And so when they've put them on the page and made them big enough to fit the page, they're sort of maybe maybe pixelated, they're not clear, and they've got lines through them that show that they're probably a waterproofed image. So they might have taken them from a stock image website or something like that where they should have bought them, but they've just used the waterproofed image instead of the real one. So it's just very bad quality. And this one here says the pictures look like they were blown up online and printed on cheap paper. Pictures are pixelated and fuzzy. So they haven't used high quality images. And this person also says as well that the cover is deceiving because what's on the cover is not in the book, and the back cover only shows the good pages. So that's where you can start to get a really good idea of what people don't like about a book. So you've got to make sure you're using high quality images, that you're using images that you're allowed to use, and that you're not putting something on the cover that's going to trick the customer into buying it. And then when they get it, it's not what they expected. You want to make it as clear as possible what they're getting. And so this is all really good feedback from customers to help you build something that they are not going to be disappointed about if they buy it. So hopefully you get the idea of what you should be doing there. Now, another way to make the conditions more favorable that your book will sell is make something customers want to buy. It sounds simple, but sometimes we forget to do that. How do we know what customers are buying? There are a few ways. You can just go straight onto the Amazon website and do searches there. Search for books in the niche or niches that you're looking at and go through which ones are selling. I like to use BookBolt personally. It is much quicker, and it just saves a whole heap of time with this kind of research process. So there's a couple of different ways that you can use BookBolt to find what it is that customers are buying. We can use the products tab here on the left, which basically just lets you search for products with a particular keyword. I'm just going to type in Halloween. You can drill down by specific type of books, but I'm just going to use general to start with, and it should bring up a bunch of books with the keywords Halloween. It also gives you some data here on what the average bestseller rank is, the average price, and things like that. At this point, when you're looking at seasonal or event type or holiday books, this is kind of irrelevant because it may be too early. People aren't buying them yet. Halloween, people are sort of only probably just starting to think about buying Halloween stuff. We'll start to see the Halloween products bestseller ranks start to climb very soon. So you can have a look through here at ideas for Halloween books. There are Halloween keywords here as well that you can use. I also like to use the cloud feature where this searches for best sellers. So again, I'm just going to pop in the Halloween keyword, and for example, let's take a look in coloring books. We do a search, it's going to bring up the top 100 best sellers. So this tells us what customers are actually buying. So we have that chibi horror coloring book coming up as one of the most popular ones as of right now. This will fluctuate and change over the next month or so. The closer we get to Halloween, more books will start being sold and these sort of ranks will change. We've got a Freak of Halloween horror coloring book. We've got a witches coloring book. Now the information that you can see down here gives you some great information without having to go into the listing on Amazon to get it. So the price, the bestseller rank, estimated monthly sales, and things like that. Also gives you the average bestseller rank for the past 30 days. Once this holiday or event has passed, that does become a little irrelevant, but for the right now, it's interesting information to have. So we'll keep going through. We've got some cute witch stuff, which is a book that we looked at the cover of, a coloring book of Shadows, Season of the Witch. We've got some Halloween fairy houses, cute, quirky and spooky fairy homes, a jumbo Halloween coloring book for kids, creepy dolls. So what can we take from scrolling just through these top 100 coloring books on Amazon? For the most part, I would say that it looks like the majority of Halloween coloring books are aimed at adults, not so much kids. Yes, there are Halloween books for kids, but it seems like most of them are targeting adults and going for the more either creepy horror style or the cute kawaii type of style. The ones for the kids, you do have to be careful because Halloween's scary and little kids don't understand that Halloween monsters aren't real. So you can't make a scary Halloween book for kids. So I think the idea of Halloween, it being scary and horror, people are more inclined to make them for adults, and adults are probably a little bit more inclined to buy them rather than they would buy them for a child. Looking through here, through this list as well, it gives us a good idea of what the covers look like on the ones that are selling. What is on the covers? What are they called? What titles are they giving these books that's making them stand out and making people click on them and buy them? I'm going to go up here and take a look at puzzle books as well, and let's see if there's any kind of Halloween puzzle books that are selling well at the moment. So we've got an autumn word search, so not so much targeting Halloween, but the season. We've got large print Halloween word search. So at this point in mid-September, it seems like coloring books are selling a bit better than puzzle books. So let's go and take a look at activity books. Are activity books popular at Halloween, or is it really just coloring books? So we've got word search, we've got the I Spy Halloween, another word search, Halloween cut and paste. These look like they are a bit more targeted to children. Activity books are probably more popular with kids than they would be with adults. At this point, it still seems like coloring books are the most popular medium content type of book in the Halloween niche. And let's take a look at maybe journal. We'll see if there's any Halloween journals. So we'll go to the low content books and see what's trending there. So we've got some Hocus Pocus spell books. So these have some good bestseller ranks. We've got the 2 Hocus Pocus spell books, a composition notebook with vintage witch illustrations. So we've got some vintage Halloween ephemera collections. So the ephemera books seem to be doing really well. And there are a few journals there too that are doing really well with the Halloween theme. Some people who just love Halloween, they just want everything they can possibly get in the Halloween theme. And let's take a look at notebooks just quickly, and we'll see if there's anything trending in the notebooks for Halloween. It seems like this vintage type of illustration on the cover is what's really popular at the moment. All these top few in notebooks, they're all composition notebooks, and they all have the same style of cover. So that's something to take note of if those are the kind of books that you're going to be wanting to make. So that's interesting that they're pretty much all composition notebooks. So that is just a few ways that you can start to implement strategies to help you, 1, make better books, which 2, then in turn helps make more sales. The better the books are that you make, the better reviews that you get with customers, which builds up trust with Amazon's other customers when they are searching for Halloween books, and building up that trust will just lead to more sales over the Halloween period. And the great thing is, once you have published a Halloween book or any other event or holiday or seasonal book for that matter, once you've published it, it will hopefully just gather steam each and every year and sell more and more at each time that that event or holiday comes around. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these strategies are not exclusive to just Halloween. It will work at any time of the year for any kind of book in any kind of niche. It's all about quality and making books that customers actually want and will enjoy. I hope that you have found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.